Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, and I've ridden a ton of step-on, and today I'm talking about the Burton Highshot X Pro step-on boot, a boot that's new for 2026, and it's a much stiffer version of the Wave Range X Pro, meant to be more on the all mountain to free ride side of the spectrum of their new step-on boot line. It is still considerably softer than my Nitro Profile TLS, the Burton Photon, and the Burton Ion step-on. It's got a cover over the bottom part of the boot that if your BOA breaks, they'll have to cut that out. It doesn't quite have the longevity of flex that it would seem to have with an articulating cuff and a nice backstay like this. And the middle BOA that controls this blue internal ankle harness that is quite large causes pressure points for my feet and might for yours. It might not though. But it does not have an integration with the tongue and barely gives me any more ankle support like the Nitro Profile TLS, the Burton Photon, and the Burton Ion step-on that have an external ankle harness. On the positives though, it does offer a much more mellow response edge to edge that I think a lot of people, including myself, appreciate. It has a much better lateral flex from tip to tail, so it allows you more natural movement and you don't feel as locked into the high back. So it really comes down to whether or not this internal ankle harness will work for you or not. And if you want to spend more than most snowboards to have a snowboard boot. I rode this with my Union Atlas step-on bindings, my Yes Greats 154 snowboard for 2026, and on the GNU Turbo Gremlin. On the same day, I compared it against my Nitro Profile and the Atlas step-on. This is my favorite combination when I'm testing step-on. Normally, I'm riding Union Force and the Nitro Team BOAs. I got these for 2 days, and just so you know, this is an honest, objective review for you, the consumer, and Burton did not pay me to do this review. As a matter of fact, I bought these boots with hard-earned Good Ride dollars to get this review out to you. And I can do this thanks to the support of this wonderful community that we have here, but especially so thanks to Blower Board Shop, a shop with a local and online presence that's been selling to snowboarders longer than resorts have been allowing snowboarders on the lifts. They're an amazing shop, and they have that beautiful balance between that local shop customer service that truly cares with a larger online presence. So if you want to support honest, objective content like this and an amazing shop, click through our links to Blower Board Shop and buy something. It would be greatly appreciated. Now let's talk weight. These are 2 pounds, 7 ounces. That's not that bad. It's kind of middle ground. In comparison to my Profile TLS, these are 2 pounds, 10 ounces. And when combined with bindings like my Atlas step-on that are 1 pound, 15 ounces, you get a pretty light setup overall. And many step-on bindings actually run lighter than the Atlas step-on too, so you can get much lighter. And when it comes to fit, the Highshot X Pro runs about 1/2 size too large. So this 9 feels a little bit more like a 9.5. I could not get my toes to touch standing up straight like they usually do. They usually barely touch. The good news is they seem to be a little wider in the front. The interesting part though is when I'm in the boot, I don't feel my feet sliding back and forth like I normally do if I'm in a boot that's a 1/2 size too big. When it comes to width, these actually fit my E-width feet, which are at the beginning of wide, pretty well. They're a little tight, but with a heat mold or a little bit of time, I should be able to pull these off. Normally, with most Burton boots, I like getting a regular because I'm at the beginning of wide and just heat molding it. If I were to do it all over again, I would go with an 8.5 wide. And I'm glad they make this in regular and wide. And one thing about the liner, it is very thin. And while I love the asymmetry, I wish it had a little more protection right here, especially with the blue ankle harness. And this is just a standard Burton insole. They put this in every boot. After taking a run or two with this, I switched out to my King Foam Orthotic Elite from Footprint insole technology. And I also tried my Game Changer Sport Pro insole that's heat moldable, customizable to my arch, and it felt much better that way. So let's talk about the lacing system and getting this boot on and off. You have 3 boas here. So you have 3 points of failure, which isn't ideal, but there are some boots out there that have it. It's not a huge deal breaker, especially if you get strap-ons that can hold your boot together if a boa breaks and let you finish that powder day before you drop these boots off for repair. Getting these on is very slow because you constantly have to adjust 3 boas, and boas take a long time to tighten up properly. Getting it off is super easy because all you have is Velcro and 3 pops. I do like the adjustability a lot better with my Nitro profile TLSs because you have lower and upper and then an ankle strap that emulates what you would feel when you have a traditional binding on with an ankle strap. Where this has a lower that's over more the bottom part of the foot, and the way the boa is connected here, it runs straps across the top and it feels more like it's tightening from the sides and not around your entire foot and holding in the ankle. Then you have this rather large blue internal ankle harness, and that runs on the upper boa here that overlaps the lower and this upper region that tightens this area, which I like a lot. And the blue ankle harness is primarily to lock in your heel and eliminate all heel lift, which it did for me no problem. However, it did cause pressure points because it is so large. It goes from here all the way down into the bottom lacing and then all the way up to here in the top lacing. And as you forward flex, it presses down. I tried it really tight and it helped a little bit, but then I lost the circulation in my feet. Then I went medium in terms of tightness, and the pressure points started pressing down at the top of my foot here on a forward flex. I just could never get it comfortable. Keeping it really loose, it did the same thing, and that was a big problem for me. Now, in terms of ankle support, this didn't do much or anything at all. And when I got out of this and got on this, I couldn't believe how much more support I had with the Profile TLS, and the same goes for the Photon Step-On and the Ion Step-On that have an even more supportive ankle strap that really gives you more symmetry in terms of turn initiation and ankle support. When I went on a toe side turn, this was nowhere near as bad as the Wave Range X Pro, when I just felt the entire boot fold, cause pressure points, and it did not feel anywhere near as responsive on the toe side turn as it did the heel. I also felt like I had no support. And what I really wished they did is, instead of making this internal ankle harness internal, I wish they made it external. I wish it was permanently attached to the tongue of the boot. And instead of being really tall, going from the bottom all the way to the top and overlapping the upper and lower boa, I wish it emulated an ankle strap like the Ion, the Photon, the Profile TLS, and the Venture TLS Step-On boots, and wrapped around your ankle here with less support in the middle and a little more on the sides like an ankle strap does. So it would still help you with heel hold tremendously, but also provide ankle support. And it wouldn't affect this sleek look in comparison to the busy look of the boas of old. So that blue ankle harness has a lot of problems for me in terms of ankle support and causing pressure points that might be a deal breaker for you like it was for me. So let's talk flex and response. The Highshot X Pro is definitely on the medium soft side. It's much softer than the Photon step-on, the Ion step-on. Definitely much softer than my Profile TLS and Venture TLS step-on boots. It's a good bit stiffer though than the WaveRange X Pro, but the new line of WaveRange and Highshot start at very soft and go to medium soft, and that's it. There is no medium stiff, there is no stiff. And what they're trying to do is create a boot that has a more natural feel with an easier lateral flex from tip to tail, which this does have, and I really like. I didn't feel like I was locked in to the high back like I normally am with step-on boots. It's still not perfect, and getting off these and getting on my Union Force and Nitro Team boas, I felt more range of movement from tip to tail, but it's considerably better than my Nitro Profile TLS, the Burton Ion step-on, and the Photon step-on, which I've ridden a lot in the past. So that part's good. And the response is dialed back a lot because of this softer flex. And with step-ons, it's already very responsive because you're pulling from the high back and it has a lot of leverage. The one thing though is without the ankle harness on the outside and that blue internal harness not really working as much as I'd like for response and support. It feels asymmetrical in terms of toe versus heel side response. When I'm on the heel side, it's much more responsive. And then when I go forward on the toe side, I don't have a lot of ankle support, but the main thing is I don't feel like the toe side response is as much. So I have to lean more on the toe side than I do the heel side to get it to respond equally edge to edge, especially when I'm leaning into a carve. And when I got off these and got on the Profile TLS, I noticed a massive change in terms of symmetry of response that I appreciated a lot more here, as well as better ankle support. So is it bad? I wouldn't say that. If I didn't do the comparison, it was noticeable, but it's something you can get easily used to, like so many things in snowboarding. But I would like more symmetry. And when it comes to flex retention, this does have a long spine that supports the step-on technology here that clicks into the high back. It also has articulating cuffs, but it does not have the longevity of flex that many boots out there have, like my Nitro Profile TLS, that have great ankle articulation, a great spine as well, but more durable material throughout the entire construction that retains its flex a lot longer. This is already showing signs of breaking down just after 2 days of riding. And I don't think this is going to hold up that well because it's designed to have an easier lateral flex. It's designed to be softer and have less response edge to edge to emulate what it feels like when you're in a normal boot and binding combination that's strapped and not step-on. But I wish there was a better way to retain this flex and keep that lateral movement, but that's a very hard thing to do. And right now I'd take this, and let's face it, most snowboarders do not ride enough. But at this price point, I really wish it would be something you could buy and ride for a decade. And I am concerned about the durability. They did put rubber around the toe here, which is very good. And they put plastic in the back and kind of like almost like a rubber spray along the sides here to help. But hey, boas break a lot. And with this cover here, you're probably gonna have to cut this off to get to the boa in here to fix it if the bottom part breaks. So hope this doesn't break, because I don't know what's underneath here and what it looks like if you have to cut this off and how they could repair it. You might have to send it to Burton. It might be a complicated repair, and local shops will not be excited about repairing this. Now, when it comes to shock absorption, I was really excited about seeing so much EVA foam in here, but in actuality, this rides up higher and there isn't a lot of shock absorption here. It's made for board feel more than shock absorption, which is okay because most bindings that you're gonna pair this up with have tons of EVA foam, are very shock absorbent, and often very damp and shock absorbent as well. So it's not a big deal breaker. But I will say this Nitro Profile TLS that looks like it has a lot less shock absorption actually has a lot more than the Highshot X Pro. And when it comes to traction, you have Vibram, whatever you want to call it here, and that's the best in the industry. I felt great traction here, although this Nitro rubber wasn't any worse. But if you're dealing with really cold temps and you still want excellent traction, Vibram, that's the way to go. And there is great board feel here, or shall we say, instead of board feel, we'll say great connectivity with the binding. It feels more integrated with this optimized EST outsole. And when it comes to the footprint, this is reduced like all Burton boots, and it's about 29.5 centimeters to 29.7 centimeters, which is pretty good. It's not the warmest boot out there. They do put in that reflective heat coil on the bottom like so many brands do, but overall it's not that warm, and it's very close in terms of footprint to my Profile TLS, at least in a size 9. And this has a footprint of about 29.7 centimeters as well. Now, one thing to mention is when you're in step-on and you want to carve, you have much more high back behind you. But here's the thing, you have to be a top tier A-game carver to really have this boot out on the heel side. And you have to be on a board that's just borderline width-wise acceptable to carve super hard. What I found is I never had an issue on a really hard heel side carve, especially if I was on the right width board. So overall, I love this sleek look. This reminds me of an SLX boot I loved in the early 2000s, and it has such a beautiful look. And this internal ankle harness, while it's a deal breaker for me, might not be for you, as all feet are different. But if they could eliminate the pressure points that I personally had and add more ankle support, then this would have been my boot. But as it stands now, I'm gonna stick with the more complicated, messy TLS lacing system because there's ankle support, there's symmetrical response, there's longevity of flex, there's perfect upper and lower separation for adjustability, and a little better shock absorption. This is gonna be my boot. And if you're into Burton, I would still strongly consider the Photon step-on, even though it doesn't have upper and lower adjustability, and the Burton Ion step-on. If you want more symmetrical response and more response in general, and you like that fast response, that's a much better option than the Highshot X Pro. But if you want a more mellow feel response-wise, edge to edge, a much better range of movement from tip to tail, the Highshot X Pro might be the better boot for you. There you have it. Hope this helps.